Hello and welcome to Your Perfect Cholesterol. This is a presentation by me, Chris Pickard, and adapted or co-written by Jack Wolfson, a cardiologist in the States. So today I am going to share what is cholesterol and why does the body make it in the first place. Surely it's not just to cause you harm. I'm going to cover a little bit about LDL, well, a lot about LDL and some about HDL, the good, the bad and the truth, statin drug failures, nutrition and lifestyle for your perfect cholesterol, supplements to support your perfect cholesterol numbers, and a roadmap to better health and less or no drugs. First, however, a warning. Do not stop statin drugs without discussing with your doctor first. Discuss any changes of medical care with your doctor, because this presentation is meant for informational purposes only. The content is solely the opinion of me, based on mentoring from cardiologists and lots of science. The presentation is not meant to diagnose, prevent, treat or cure any disease. Please speak with your healthcare provider regarding any change to your healthcare plan. And this is pretty much the same disclaimer that Dr. Jack Wolfson uses on his webinars. Anyway, so here I am. I originally trained as a doctor of chiropractic. I'm a member of the International Association of Functional Neurology, and I am the first UK member of the Cardiovascular Health Institute. I think it's soon to be renamed the Natural Health Institute, or Natural Heart Health. And I actually have my picture in the Guinness Book of Records in the 2014 edition. It's very tiny, very small, has nothing to do with anything exciting, but I thought I'd throw it in there just in case you have that edition. And here is my main cardiology mentor, Dr. Jack Wolfson. He is one of the top cardiologists, top holistic cardiologists as well in the United States. Now, more than credentials, what's actually even better is actually some of our clients' results. Dr. Suman Kasal there from Ireland, she's the one floating? She's the one underwater there. That's why she looks like there's bubbles and jellyfish in front of her. And with one of the programs that we use, she was able to lose 15 kilograms in less than 2 months, completely change her health, get a lot more energy. And Julie on the right there, or maybe it's your left, she halved her blood pressure medication within the first 6 weeks and stopped it altogether after 8 weeks. She also lost weight and lost a lot of aches and pains within her first 6 weeks as well. So big changes are possible and quite quickly, no matter what you may have been told or what your starting point. So why is this so important? Well, in the UK, someone has a heart attack every 5 minutes, and in the United States, that's every 40 seconds there's a heart attack. Heart disease is actually up again from 2019, possibly, well, why? I'll tell you why. Well, one is blood pressure is rising as well, as there's also a number of other reasons which I will cover a little bit later on. But basically, we are getting worse when it comes to heart health. We are getting worse. So why is this? Is it because of fat? Is it really? Well, and more specifically, is it because of cholesterol? So let's have a little bit of a look at cholesterol. So cholesterol itself is basically, it's a molecule and it's made up of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen. So pencil and water basically, and there's no arsenic, there's no mercury, there's nothing in and of itself toxic within it. It's very useful, that's why our body makes it. It's a type of fat that's vital to human life. It's part of every single cellular membrane, and by that I mean every single cell of your body. Every organ of your body is made up of cells, so whether it's a liver cell, a heart cell, a brain cell, an eye cell, a nerve cell, we need cholesterol for those cells to work properly and for the organs to work properly. Cholesterol is needed to make your steroid hormones, so things like estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, cortisol. It's needed to bring down inflammation in your body. It's needed to make vitamin D. It's very, very important. That's why our body makes it. And it's the healthy liver that makes cholesterol in the amounts that we need, or primarily. And this is a little picture. There you go. There's the liver, and there's a lot of drug names on there. And those are where the drugs are interacting to basically help stop making cholesterol, or inside the intestines actually do stuff to make sure we don't absorb it, or make sure we actually take it away from our body. So there's a lot of different actions that drugs are trying to take to stop cholesterol. But you know, not only do we need cholesterol in our body, we also need it for actual digestion as well. So if we don't actually have cholesterol for digestion, again, that causes problems. And there you go. Cholesterol and sex hormones, I've already mentioned that. Vitamin D, already mentioned that. By the way, getting some sunshine helps convert cholesterol into vitamin D, or because we have to make vitamin D. And there we go. Inside cell membranes, already mentioned it. Very, very important. So here's something else you might not realise from all the hysteria about trying to lower cholesterol. High total cholesterol levels in late life is actually associated with a reduced risk of dementia. But it's not just dementia, it's reduced risk of a number of other conditions. And in fact, it's actually just measuring cholesterol, and we're mainly just measuring cholesterol, and there's all kinds of different types of cholesterol. We'll cover that in a little bit. Just measuring cholesterol is just a poor measure of overall health. Now this graph basically shows that the lower lines, the green, the sort of orangey yellow, and the red line basically are looking at things like, well, stroke. And as you can see, the higher your cholesterol is, the green line does not go up as cholesterol goes up. But the amount of coronary heart disease and the all cardiovascular deaths does go up the higher your cholesterol is. But the blue line, the one that's a little bit more kind of a bit like a kind of a U shape in some ways, is related to all-cause mortality and death. So as you can see, there's kind of a sweet spot where, you know, even though cholesterol levels might be going up, well, at first, if we have really low levels of cholesterol, we have a very high death rate. And then as cholesterol levels rise a little bit towards, well, and this is the American numbers here. I apologise that I really should put on the UK numbers as well. But as it raises a little bit, then death rate goes down, and then as death rate from heart diseases go up, death rate from other things actually go down, which is why the death rate actually stays the same for a while. And then as it gets over a certain amount, the death rate goes up again. So there's a sweet spot for cholesterol. It's not just about lowering it. And if you lower it too much, it's just as bad as letting it go too high. Really, cholesterol is all about the sweet spot. And here we have total cholesterol, and looking at all, there's so many studies that basically looked at what actually happens over the world in different age groups as well. So there is a sweet spot, okay? And U-shaped association between LDL cholesterol to HDL cholesterol ratio. So there's a ratio as well that's really important to look at. So yeah, basically, you really don't just want to worry about lowering cholesterol. You want to know, is it in the right area? Now, have you been told that your blood tests are normal, or your cholesterol is normal, or it's good, or it's too high? Okay, now it's normal, but what about actually healthy? And this is one of the things, is that the normal ranges that doctors tend to go on aren't necessarily the healthy ranges. There is actually a big difference. Okay, so this is the healthy cholesterol numbers, okay, according to science, not what you see on your report from your doctors. So you can actually go and research this. You can get the doctor to have a look, and let's see, there we go. So these are figures directed from Dr. Brian Walsh in the States. He had an extensive look at all the literature. And so these are actually the UK numbers. Okay, so sorry if you're American, I can get those numbers to you. So if you're under 60 years old, the total cholesterol, okay, should be somewhere between 3.11 and 6.22. Okay, that is the healthy range. When we're going back to that U-shaped curve, that's the sweet spot for total cholesterol. Okay, but as you get older, okay, and a man, so over 60, that sweet spot becomes slightly higher. And for a woman over 60, it's even higher. So if you are over 60, you want to make sure that your doctor is actually looking at the sweet spot for your age, not just the normal figures that he's looking at one side. Okay, it's very, very important. So if you're confused, then reach out. But why is it that doctors are so concerned about cholesterol? Well, it's because of this. This is a picture of an artery. The little red things in there that look a little bit like donuts are red blood cells, and the yellow stuff is a plaque on the artery wall, meaning there's less room for the red blood cells. And as there's less room, then it means blood pressure can go up, and that can cause its own problems. It can cause more damage to arteries, and then it can also cause things like strokes. And if you don't get blood into the brain, that's a stroke. If you don't get blood to certain areas of your heart, then it can cause a heart attack. And this plaque, this yellow stuff, is basically filled with cholesterol, LDL cholesterol. So they figure out that the more you lower it, the better it is. But it's not that simple, because what you actually need to find out is, why is the cholesterol? Because cholesterol, after all, is a fat. And I don't know if you've ever cooked with something or put oil in your car. Oil makes things run more slickly and smoothly. So why is something slick and smooth sticking to your arteries? It's actually because it's a protective mechanism. It means there's some damage in your artery wall that you can't repair for some reason, so you're using a bit of poor plaster. And there are various other reasons why your cholesterol can become a bit more sticky and gloopy, but if you do the right things, it's much less of a problem. And so this is from a heart surgeon, an analysis of cholesterol values in 1,700 patients with atherosclerotic disease. That's what I just showed you a picture of. Revealed no definite correlation between serum cholesterol levels and the nature and extent of atherosclerotic disease. So doctors are looking at basically lowering cholesterol because they think it might be causing atherosclerotic disease, but no, you can actually have atherosclerotic disease with low cholesterol. It's got nothing to do with how much disease you actually have. So it's a call for changing the cholesterol tests, basically. And the main cholesterol that doctors are really worried about when they actually look at all cholesterol is they look at what's called low density lipoprotein, or LDL cholesterol. But here's the thing. What we're actually measuring when we're measuring cholesterol isn't actually the amount of cholesterol. It's actually measuring the amount of these different, well, lipoproteins. So what is a lipoprotein? Well, a lipoprotein is basically a ball. Okay, so think of it as a tennis ball, or in America a baseball, although tennis balls are in America as well. So tennis ball, and basically it's a tennis ball. Okay, and it's got what's called a phospholipid membrane, like all sort of circular spherical cells in the body. It's got a particular kind of protein on the top. LDL cholesterol has something called ApoB, and then it has cholesterol in that membrane, but there's also cholesterol and other stuff on the inside of it. And we're going to get to the insides in a minute. It's a bus, okay, LDL cholesterol. And what it does is it moves things around the body. Now, have I listed it? Yes. Oh, sorry about this slide and the small writing. So what's on the LDL bus? Well, cholesterol, triglycerides, type of fat, phospholipids, okay, and fat-soluble vitamins like vitamins A, D, E, and K, and also coenzyme Q10, which is something that you need in order to make energy in your muscles and including your heart, all your cells. All your cells need coenzyme Q10. So if you have LDL cholesterol that's too low, then you're not going to be able to deliver things like vitamins A, D, E, and K to your body. Vitamins are kind of vital. And you're not going to be able to deliver coenzyme Q10, which you need for things like your heart to work properly. So just lowering your LDL cholesterol without really looking at it is kind of a dangerous thing. And various studies on statins, so this is just the blindly lowering cholesterol, found out that if you lowered your LDL cholesterol a certain amount, then you actually had a slight increased risk of cardiovascular events, 4.9%. If it was in a certain amount, it was okay, well, still 4.8%. And if it went higher, then basically more events. But here's the thing. So even though statins did seem to sort of have some effects, okay, compared to the placebo group, there was no difference in mortality, basically. So basically, yes, statins can lower the events of cardiovascular, problems, but they do it at the expense of causing other problems because of, well, lowering the ability of cholesterol or LDL cholesterol to deliver various nutrients to the body. So here's something that's much more useful, okay? And this is what has been found, is it's not just about measuring cholesterol, whether it's HDL cholesterol, which is the high density lipoprotein, which we'll cover very slightly in a moment, or the low density lipoprotein. The low density lipoprotein, again, it's all about the size of the particles. Now, if you imagine you've got a great big bus, okay, and it's absolutely chock full of vitamins A, D, E, K, and coenzyme Q10, okay, you're going to get very big particles, okay. Whereas if it's absolutely depleted of A, D, E, K, and cholesterol, you get lots of very small particles. So they're not very useful, and these are the ones that tend to cause more of a problem. So what we need to do is we actually need to measure how many large useful particles of LDL cholesterol you have, as opposed to small useless ones. So it's no use knowing how much LDL cholesterol you have. It's actually much better to know how much of it is small and useless and empty, basically. And so the other thing that's very, very important to measure is HDL cholesterol has a little protein on it called ApoA, and LDL cholesterol and some of the other particles you don't want basically have something called apolipoprotein B on it. And one of the most useful things to know isn't HDL to LDL cholesterol, it's actually the ApoA and ApoB ratios. The more ApoA you have, the better it is overall. And basically the difference between HDL and LDL is LDL goes around delivering lots of stuff to your body, and HDL basically takes cholesterol and bits of waste back to the liver to be processed. So LDL is everything that carries stuff out, and HDL carries stuff back to be recycled and reused. So yeah, apolipoprotein B to A, this is predictive of heart issues. So if you have just had your cholesterol levels measured and you're on a statin drug, but you don't know what your ApoA/B or BA ratio is, then you need to get that checked. You need to go back to your doctor, ask for your cardiologist. Because basically just popping a statin and saying, oh, I can eat whatever I want, is actually a surefire way to not improving your health at all, getting worse. So some more statins studies basically looking at trying to prevent heart disease, studied in the Journal of the American Medical Association. What did it basically show? Basically, in the statin group, the total mortality was 2.4%, and in the placebo group, it was 2.3%. So basically, by just lowering cholesterol without really any real as to why, it actually didn't have any overall benefit at all, possibly a slight non-benefit. Another trial, the Prosper trial, looking at 50% men, 50% women, aged 70 to 82, with a history or risk factors of vascular disease. They looked at what happened over 3 years, and basically they found out that while the placebo group had stroke deaths of 0.5%, the statin group had a death from strokes of 0.8%, so it's actually slightly increased strokes. Coronary heart disease death in the placebo group was 4.2%, and in the statin group was 3.3%. So statins, while they may have slightly increased stroke, they decreased overall coronary heart health deaths. But the cancer death rate in the placebo group, 3.1%. In the statin group, it was higher at 4%. And the total all-cause mortality, basically, all that happens with statins is you swap heart deaths for other deaths. So there's no real overall benefit to saving your life. And in another trial, they found out that 18% more people died in the statin group than in the placebo group. So I think, and again, speaking to other cardiologists, when you actually know when statins are really needed, I think they undoubtedly will save lives. But just using them just because you've got high cholesterol can be fatal. Statin drug after a heart attack. What did this one show? After 5.4 years, the placebo group 88.5% were alive, and in the statin group 91.8%. So basically, this one did actually show that statins did have a slight increase in health benefits, which is good. But they do come with lots of side effects. Rashes, digestive problems, muscle problems, liver damage, I think I've already mentioned problems, neurological side effects, sexual dysfunction. And if you look back at, well, what does LDL cholesterol contain, which is lots of nutrients and lots of things you need to make your body work, then it's no wonder that statins have so many side effects, because they literally stop your body from working properly. So, can we do better than, because even this, so while some studies showed that statins have no effect or even detrimental, this one showed the slight benefit. Can we do better than, worse or only a 2 or 3% improvement in health? Can we do better? Yes. Yes, by looking at sort of really how we evolved and looking at sort of the diet and the cholesterol that our ancestors had, which I've already shown you some ideas and some clues, by eating in a different way. This is the Dr. Wolfson Paleo Pyramid, which is very similar to a DASH diet, which is the best diet for blood pressure. It's also probably one of the best diets overall that you can get lots of information from very easily online about for cholesterol as well. And eating things that, well, we maybe think of bad but are actually good, like eggs. Eggs actually probably decrease cardiovascular problems. They actually raise good cholesterol far more than they raise bad cholesterol, and they have many other health benefits as well. So saturated fats, basically the thing that everyone targets or thoughts of that were thought to actually cause heart disease, turns out no, it doesn't actually cause heart disease in the way they actually thought. We don't really need to be afraid of saturated fats and good old English breakfast if we use the right cooking oils. And what was this one? Yeah, angiogram on day 1 and after 3 years assessed starts and risks of coronary artery disease progression. Basically, greater saturated fat intake is associated with less progression of coronary atherosclerosis, whereas carbohydrate intake is associated with a greater progression. So basically, swapping a full English breakfast made with eggs that are free range and organic, made from sausages that are from free range and organic, either cows or pork, swapping a good nourishing full English breakfast for breakfast cereals is a bad idea. Weetabix are probably worse for you than, well, certainly a vegetable omelette. Saturated fat, less progression of coronary artery disease, carbohydrate intake, greater progression. So there we go. That's just one study. Sunshine, can that lower cholesterol? Yes, because it helps turn it into vitamin D. We've already covered that. There are lots and lots of studies. I'm just putting these up here so that you can see that the studies are there, that you can show this to your doctor as well, so that they start to realize, you know what? There's a lot more to this lifestyle stuff than just saying stop eating fats, because stop eating fats is the wrong thing to do. And we know that basically the lower the latitude, i.e. the closer people live to the equator, the lower the cholesterol levels, and also less cardiac deaths as well. So also another key thing to do is sleeping. Sleeping is very, very, very important. If you don't get enough sleep, you tend to have, well, higher cholesterol levels, but more than that, more diabetes as well, because it interferes with hormones, and more heart problems. And if you don't get enough sleep, you get lower HDL as well, which is your good cholesterol. So more sleep equals better blood sugar control, better LDL, and better HDL. So very, very important to sleep. Aerobic exercise, yes, again, this is something that you should know about. You want to exercise, and if you can't exercise because you're in pain, then I have a solution for you later as well. Now here's something you may not realize. Air pollution. Yes, the air you breathe is linked to higher triglycerides and LDL and lower HDL. And what most people don't realise is that air pollution in places like London, if you live within the M25, if you live in Birmingham, if you live in a city, then the air pollution is terrible. Even if you think you live somewhere green, unless you're actually living in the middle of a forest, unless you're living like in the middle of Hyde Park in the green area, so lots of trees are taking up lots of the pollution, then you need an air filter for your home, okay, at the very least, especially your bedroom. So air pollution is linked with higher blood pressure, it's linked with higher diabetes, it's linked with higher obesity, and yes, it's linked with cholesterol problems as well. Pesticides as well. So even if you've got clean air, if your food is covered in various pesticides, which most are these days, then it's linked with, again, worse cholesterol levels and more heart disease. Stress as well. Major cause of dyslipidemia. True dyslipidemia, that is. Okay. And yep, periodontal pockets and elevated cholesterol and low density lipoprotein cholesterol levels. So this periodontal basically means, teeth problems, gum problems. The kind of bacteria that lurk there cause stress in your system, and they can cause cholesterol levels to go too high and problematic as well. So it's important to look after your teeth. So now you've got some ideas, but what is the overall plan? Let me just take a sip of water. Okay, what is the overall plan? So this is my overall summary. This is my picture of a perfect plan for perfect health. Okay, and at the middle, in the middle there, it says heart health. Okay, but you can just leave that as health. You could put blood pressure in there, you could put healthy cholesterol, you could put blood sugar levels, you can put whatever you want, you know, healthy weight. And, you know, heart health depends on basically a proper working body, brain and bowels, basically. So are you exercising enough? Are you eating the right kind of food? And are you nice and unstressed? And on the outside, you have stress attacking your body, toxins attacking your body, and trauma attacking your body. And what protects your body, brain and bowels are the magnificent 7 health strategies. Think right, talk right, drink right, eat right, move right, detox right, and sleep right. And when you get the magnificent 7 in play, your body, brain and bowels work properly, and you will exhibit fantastic heart health. So I am now going to break that down into 10 simple steps for you. Okay, first of all, you can go back to the pyramid of food there, and you can start eating organic, pesticide-free paleo foods. Some foods you definitely have to eat organic, some you don't have to. Again, I train my clients about what to do here. And yeah, what you eat can actually alter your genetics. This is Dr. Tim, or Professor Tim Spector. He ran the PREDICT study, which looked at 13,000 twins, a lot of them identical twins, so they had identical genetics. But he found that health is only 20% genetic, and it's actually modified by your diet and lifestyle. So you could have one twin that has heart problems and it can be put down to genetics because the parents did as well, but the other twin does something different and they don't have heart problems. It's more about your gut bacteria, which basically means, you know, change what you eat, change your gut bacteria, change your health. Very, very important. So basically, cholesterol foods, avoid too many carbohydrates. Any energy you don't use will get stored as fat, and it's worse for your cholesterol, as you have already seen, and worse for atherosclerosis. And have more fibre and vegetables to help change and feed the right gut bacteria. Step 2, get sunshine. So if it's sunny, get outside, get some sunshine every opportunity you have. Make sure you do it in slow doses though. You don't want to get sunburn. You just want, you know, maybe 20 minutes on as much of your body every day that you can. You don't need more than that. Get enough sleep. Already covered why. Now, this is something that you may need help with. Get active with the Goldilocks exercise program. Now, if you read stories by your parents, hopefully you know the story of Goldilocks. Where she broke into the house of 3 bears, and she tried one bowl of porridge and it was too hot, one bowl it was too cold, and the other one was just right. and she found that lovely. And that's the same with exercise. If you're not exercising enough, it's going to be very detrimental to your body. But also, if you are out exercising your capabilities, your nutritional capabilities, and this is so key, it's also bad. So if your diet does not consist of all the right nutrients you need to build muscle and repair muscle, and you're stressed as well, then your nutritional needs go up higher. Exercise can actually put more stress on your system. So it's really important that you actually understand where you are and perhaps work with someone to get the right exercise program for you at this time. And as you improve your nutrition, you can exercise more. Next is heal your environment. So are there things you can do to decrease toxins around you, like telling people to stop smoking, move out of a city, get an air filter, but also heal your internal environment. Get away from toxins, clean up the insides of your body. This is something I work with so many patients, is detoxification, detoxification, detoxification. Like a goldfish in a dirty bowl, get into some clean water. Next thing, de-stress. There are lots of different techniques to help you unwind from stress. Breathing techniques, yes, there are nutrients and supplements that can help. There are apps, hypnosis tracks as well. But if one of the major causes of stress on your body is physical because you are in pain, and painkillers, for instance, can actually increase blood pressure and increase cholesterol levels, then why not go and see a chiropractor or an osteopath or a private physiotherapist, so you can decrease your pain and get more relaxed. Very, very important. So that's why Dr. Wilson actually puts chiropractic care on his perfect cholesterol plan. And yeah, so all of these steps so far have all been lifestyle. And this is Dr. Dean Ornish. There's something called the Ornish diet, which I think was for heart disease, but he also did a 90-day study with men with benign prostate hyperplasia, so prostate's growing, and he showed that in as little as 90 days you could change, I think it's 450 genes can be switched off or changed. So you can switch on some good genes that protect against prostate problems, you switch off genes that basically cause prostate problems. Lifestyle changes your DNA, your genetic expression. So just because you've been told it's genetic, that doesn't really mean anything. You can change it if you change your lifestyle in as little as 90 days. So lifestyle, fix your teeth, because that's not necessarily lifestyle if you've got a health problem. Next, evidence-based supplements. Now this is possibly what you've been waiting for, but there is a 10th step as well. So Dr. Wilson says supplements supplement a healthy lifestyle. So first of all, make sure you eat healthily. Okay, but then you can add in various supplements. And so there's a lot of different things you can try here, and I'm going to simplify it for you at the end as well. So bear with me, and I will just whiz through a lot of these. You can pause and have a look, and you can look these things up if you want more evidence for yourself. First is something called red rice yeast. Okay, and I've put phytosterols in at the same time as well. Red rice yeast actually acts in a similar way to statins, and I think it was red rice yeast that led to the discovery of statins, or the chemicals in red rice yeast that led to statins. But red rice yeast acts a little bit like statins, so yes, it lowers cholesterol. And then phytosterols, again, they're a plant material that's very like cholesterol that actually improves your cholesterol levels. So it's kind of like cholesterol from plants as opposed to cholesterol from meat, and it's very, very good in a number of different ways. I've got much more extensive studies to show you how good they are. So red rice yeast and phytosterols, very good, and they work better together. And then niacin, vitamin B3, that again has been shown to be very helpful in many different ways. Now there are two different types of niacin. There's the proper niacin, which is just called niacin or nicotinic acid, and there's niacinamide. Now niacin, the proper B3, causes a flushing. Okay, which is really good for improving capillary action, has many, many uses. Niacinamide is better at relaxing the mind, but it doesn't have the same effect on cholesterol lowering. But niacin causes a flush, which can be quite uncomfortable. So when it comes to niacin therapy, there are some ways to try and decrease that discomfort. Then there's something called pantethine, which is a derivative of B5. This again has been shown to have incredible benefits for lowering cholesterol, lowering LDL cholesterol and raising HDL cholesterol. And all these things have been shown to work really well if they're all put together. So red rice yeast, phytosterols, vitamin B3, vitamin B5, and yes, one of the products I recommend is available in both Europe and North America, and that's got all 4 of those in. Now, next up is something called berberine. Now, berberine is an amazing extract made from several plants, and not just, I don't know quite what that one is, but it's an extract found in a number of different plants. Okay, and it has effects on cholesterol, lowers triglycerides, and lowers LDL cholesterol, but it's also really good for killing off certain bugs and bacteria in your gut. It's also very good for people with blood sugar problems as well. So it's got lots and lots of uses. And it works through lots of different mechanisms. It's anti-inflammatory as well. So again, berberine can be absolutely wonderful all by itself. Then silymarin, milk thistle, often used by people to protect their liver and erroneously used in detoxification programs as well. So yes, it is good for the liver, but it can actually slow down the detoxification process. But it's also very good for blood sugar problems, reducing triglycerides, and LDL cholesterol. Yep, so it's good for a number of things. I'll just leave that all up there. It helps against non-alcoholic fatty liver disease as well. So as I said, very good for the liver. And berberine and silymarin work really well together. They work even better together. And they also work even better if it's actually put together with red rice yeast as well. So there's a product from NutriAdvance called Berberine 250, which is berberine and milk thistle. And so those particular 2 products together work really well together. And if you're in North America, yes, you can get berberine and milk thistle. And there might be products that have them combined as well. So that's very good. Now, next, green tea. You don't just have to have green tea extract. You can actually drink lots of green tea as well, about 4 cups a day, I think it may be. Green tea has all kinds of different benefits. Doesn't just help cholesterol, it can help weight loss. It has good effects for the liver in various ways. It's got effects against various cancers as well. Very good for the brain as well, which we'll get back to in a moment. So, and it can help lower something called C-reactive protein, which is an inflammatory marker in the blood. I know I'm going fast, but you can slow this down and watch it again, take notes. And again, if you're on the email list for the replay, I will be sending you shortly my notes as well on where to get some of these supplements. So green tea extract, very, very, very good for you in many different ways. Curcumin, again, something that loads of people are taking all the time. But like all nutrients, I recommend people vary between different nutrients rather than taking the same thing all the time. If you're one of my clients, you'll know why. Curcumin has all kinds of health benefits, which is why everyone's taking it for everything. Resveratrol, something you find in wine because it's in grapes. That again has a number of different health benefits and is very good for decreasing bad cholesterol and has other health benefits as well. Lowers glucose as well, so it helps improve insulin sensitivity. Ginger, another fantastic spice, underutilized I think, because turmeric seems to get all the thunder, but again, ginger improves triglycerides by lowering it, improved insulin responses, helps improve weight, helps improve blood pressure, can act as a natural blood thinner. Also, it can help you detoxify as well, lead, over a long period of time. Sage, this is something again that's absolutely amazing. Sage, not only is it a fantastic herb to add to your food, fantastic to help clean the air as well, which is why we sometimes have sage oil in the clinic. It's also very good for mediating lipids in the body, and it's also very good for the brain in helping you create short and long-term memory, apparently. Chinese skullcap doesn't sound very friendly, but again, it's got a number of active components. It's another plant. that does have beneficial effects on cholesterol, and also very good for the brain as well. So if you're in North America, you can just go to thedoctorswolfson.com and you can go and look at OptiLipid, because it contains all 6 of those last. So it's berberine, silymarin, green tea leaf extract, curcumin, resveratrol and ginger root. And if you use code Pickard10, you should get a discount as well. He has other nutrients there that support heart health as well, and other services as well, of course. And OptiLipid as well, Dr. Wolfson points out, is a dementia fighter, because as I just mentioned, a lot of those things are also good for the brain, which is why in the UK you find all of those things in something not called OptiLipid, but brain support. Oh yes, sage is not in OptiLipid, sorry. Sage and Chinese skullcap are not in OptiLipid. I should have moved that around a little bit. But brain support is turmeric, resveratrol, Chinese skullcap, green tea extract, and sage. So yeah, sage and Chinese skullcap, they're the 2 that aren't in OptiLipid. So this is different, and this is why what I like to do, because I like to vary what patients do, I like to vary between using this combination, these 2, for a few months, and then swapping to this for a few months. So there's a difference between what people are taking, because yeah, you'll know why if you decide to work with me. And then berberine, oh, I left that one in for some reason, don't need that slide. And then we spoke about how increasing fibers and increasing fruits and vegetables changes your gut bacteria. So yes, there's no surprise that probiotics also help with the triglycerides and LDL cholesterol as well. And yeah, Dr. Wolfson has Heart Helpers, which is his own proprietary blend. So if you're in North America, get on his Heart Helpers probiotics. In the UK, there are similar strains as well. And then fish oils. Fish oils. How can we talk about health when we don't talk about fish oils? Good fats, basically. Now, again, if you're a vegetarian, I'm sorry. Okay. Maybe you might want to consider, you can now get DHA from vegetarian and algae sources, but you do need an awful lot to make it worthwhile. Because when you look at a fish oil capsule, often it might say 1000 milligrams. Okay, and it may just say 1000 milligrams of fish oil, but when you look at the label, it might just say 180 milligrams of EPA or 100 milligrams of DHA. And 1000 milligrams of fish oil is not the same as 1000 milligrams of EPA and DHA, because there are other things in there as well. So the brands I use are made from small fish, because one of the things that has been found is that a lot of fish oils, especially cod liver oil, can be full of mercury. Certain fish can be full of mercury, which actually increases your need for more fish oils and other things. Whereas the oils I use are cleaned and purified, they're made from small fish anyway, so there's less mercury. And also 2 capsules of this contains over 1000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA. So look at the fish oils you've got and look at how many capsules you will have to take to get at least 1000 milligrams of combined EPA and DHA. So if your fish oil says it contains 380 milligrams of EPA and 200 milligrams of DHA, then you've got to take at least 2 capsules. Okay, and if it only has one of them listed, then you've got to guess and maybe take 10. So anyway, yeah, you look at the combined and you can take a lot more in some cases, but I would start off at just getting over 1000. Don't increase it to 5000 without supervision, is my advice. And finally, if you are already on a statin drug, or if you are taking red rice yeast, then I would also recommend you take coenzyme Q10, because one of the things that statins do is they lower coenzyme Q10 in the body for various reasons, same as red rice yeast, so it's a good idea to take coenzyme Q10. And as you can see from the notes, probably a good idea if you're over 40. I take it off and on, and certainly if you have high blood pressure, because again, some trials have shown that you take enough coenzyme Q10, your blood pressure goes down to normal. So again, just to remind you, what's the plan? Because we're only at number 9. Number 10 is finally get tested properly, and ideally when not on a statin, and get your ApoB, that should say A, and full blood count with differential actually checked as well. Very, very, very important, because what you want to do is you want to discuss things to get off statins. You want to discuss things with your doctor, stop the drug, go cold turkey, get tested. Then you want to get on the plan, get on the supplements, and get tested again within 90 days to see what's really going on. So overall, again, if you want proper heart health, you've got to look at the health of your body, your brain, and your bowel. It's not just about taking a drug or taking some supplements. You've got to work all of them together. And then to protect yourself from toxins, trauma, and stress, instigate the Magnificent Seven. Think right, talk right, drink right, eat right, move right, detox right, and sleep right as well. So crucial, so key. Because when implemented correctly and by focusing on the Magnificent Seven process, you can expect to reduce body fat, tone up, and get leaner. Okay, you can expect to have more energy, feel better about yourself, develop a bulletproof mindset, have freedom with your nutrition, break free from calorie counting and worrying about what to eat and not to eat, become fitter and stronger, and reduce your risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, diabetes, and many other preventable illnesses. And then one final little client review. This is on blood pressure. Again, this is a guy who is actually very fit and pretty healthy, apart from one part of his diet. And he went through our detox program, our 7-day intense detox program. Okay, and basically within 7 days he went down from having what many people would be happy with their blood pressure, 132/84. He went down to 115/78. Just in 7 days. So very powerful when you do what has to be done. So you now have two choices. Okay, you can either go out on your own and try and implement this all by yourself, and there's certainly a lot of information to act upon, or you can get help to move faster, to stop having to guess, and have a system that works and gets results. However, what I do and what Dr. Jack Wolfson does is not for people who are happy taking drugs for the rest of your life. It's not for people who are not coachable, okay? It's not for people who have a fixed mindset, and it's not for you if you have no ambition to grow and to be taken out of your comfort zone and explore something new. So what is the next step? Well, it's okay to ask for help, okay? So the next step is to literally ask for some help. Reach out. Okay, and the best way to do that is to reply via email or call me at the clinic 01707 662 704, or reach out to me via bodyimbalanceuk.com, or if you found me on Facebook, message me, send me a friend request. Is usually the best way to do it. Send me a friend request so that I can see that you sent me a message. Okay, and so on that note, I want you to be, well, not just healthy, but magnificently healthy by implementing the Magnificent 7 health strategies to become the best you possibly can be and to have your perfect cholesterol. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to your feedback.